Hey there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in.
So today we're talking love and marriage huntsville. Y'all know why y'all here. Anything I say is alleged in my very, very personal opinion. This is for entertainment purposes only. None of this is personal, and the Copyright Act of 1976 is in the description box. So a couple housekeeping things, some meat and potato items. It is free to follow me. It is free to follow me on this channel, Anonymous Tea. It's free to follow me on my other channel, Anonymous Tea. I can't talk today. Anonymous Tea Podcast. Got content coming over there today. TikTok. I promise I got content coming over there today on Anonymous Tea Podcast. For as long as we'll have TikTok, I don't even know. Anonymous Reality Tea on the Instagram, Instagrammies. Please, 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 please follow me over there. It is free. Free. Also, it is free, you guys, to share everywhere, to share these videos everywhere, so that it gets out there in these YouTube streets. So we are in part 3 of Mel's explosive live recap. Just FYI, if you don't know already, of Mel's live, starting with the receipts on Kimmy after she her phone. That part is uploaded, and by now, part 2 where Mel's live ends and then she comes back, that is there as well by now. It's like an hour long for you guys to have everything. Really, the only part that's missing from there is just kind of the beginning stuff about her kids and all that. But I did a recap of, and it's the part about the kids, but pretty much the stuff that she talked about in that very, very, very beginning piece in my part 1 recap, you guys. So we are in part 3. We are in part left off from part 2, essentially, where Mel is talking about how Kimmy switched up. She thought that they had a real friendship and everything else. And then she's like turned up at the reunion and had showed all of these receipts from her phone about the closeness of what she thought was a friendship, only for the energy to completely be different at the reunion, as if everybody got marching orders to go after Mel to stay on the show. This video, we're going to start off talking about Trish. Basically, Mel said she never met her before. She said she knows there's all types of conspiracies out there about Trish and all this and that. And Mel wants to set the record straight. She's like, listen, she doesn't give a bleep about anything pertaining to Martell after April 2020 when she left him. She was like, listen, ultimately, this is a TV show. They're going to try to have you set you up for stuff, and then there's other times you may just want to know because you're thinking certain people are your actual friends, and this new information is coming out of the blue. You want to get to the tea. So nonetheless, apparently they're seen after Trish left the girls trip early that we apparently were not privy to. Also was some business advice that Mel had given Trish and everything else, but they didn't show that on the show. And, essentially, even when they brought up Martell on the girls trip, that's why Mel was quiet, because she didn't care about any of that. But basically, Trish wanted advice from going from the corporate world to being an entrepreneur and opening up the gym, how to do that stuff with being a mom and all this and that. And there was no scene to be found that ever aired about that as it pertains to Mel and Trish, because they only want to utilize Mel for her to be the bone carrier, for her to instigate drama with other people, or back when her and Martell were going back and forth with each other. That's the only time they want to utilize Mel. They don't want to utilize what Mel actually has going on in her life, right? And so then she was talking about how there was another scene with her and Trish at the bakery and everything else. And I thought that this was what we did see, where she was questioning Trish about, which house was it that she allegedly met up with Martell and all of this. But she's saying, it was a scandal of it all. The painting of the pic of it all, and basically the girls' trip filmed in March, and she said in April was when they went to this restaurant. And then essentially she's telling Trish to her face, the situation with her ex, she doesn't care. She doesn't care. And Trish's advice was all about balancing being a mom. And what advice did she have? So they see Mel as a success. They see her as a successful multimillionaire entrepreneur and wants to know how Mel balances it all, right? But Mel was cool with Trish until she realized the more she talked to her, the more she could not get the truth out of this woman. And this woman continues to lie upon lie upon lie, and she was sick of it. And Mel said first she said she was one of the strongest characters on the show, and then she corrected it and said, I am the strongest character on the show and have been a long time. And she's like, you know, after she films these scenes, what she likes to do is she likes to go out to eat. She likes to go get some good food and all of the things. And so nonetheless, there's a reason why she's the reality TV queen, because there's some people who are not comfortable with those roles. Some people cannot handle doing, you know, the work that needs to be done to put together a good show. And so she said she didn't have a problem with Trish, really, until she found out from Kimmy that Trish was doing all this bleep talking about Mel behind her back. And Mel still was trying to figure out what this double standard talk was. And so nonetheless, you know, she still felt, you know, even at the bachelorette party, she said she didn't talk to Trish really after that, didn't talk to Trish at the vow renewal, didn't really talk to her, you know, at the reunion, it sounds like either, because she basically said that she doesn't have to see her again. So there's that. Said that when she was at the the graduation party, mentioned about the barbecue and how when she interacted with Trish and Marquez, she was there trying to get the food and everything else and trying to fix the plate. For some reason, where the food was, y'all, why did Trish want to bring up that she knew, that Ken knew Martel's concubine, y'all? And that Ken's from Ohio and she's from Ohio, so therefore, it's a party, y'all. Make it make sense. And you know, Mel was confused about Trish, you know, being upset that Mel said that it seemed like, you know, Trish still loved Marquez and all this and that. And, you know, that's when Mel came back, you know, with all the smoke. If you're messy, then everybody is messy, right? And why are we talking about the mistress prior to my old marriage? And see, this is the thing. All of y'all haters that say that Mel's not over Martel and all this and that. No, Mel is over Martel. It's what's happening is y'all are bringing up in these scenes, each and every single one of y'all keep bringing up Martel, y'all keep bringing up his concubine, trying to get a reaction out of Mel, and for the most part, it is left on the cutting room floor because it is irrelevant. It is irrelevant. And so they said, so Mel said basically Trisha is functioning basically like another puppet and being another flying monkey. And that nonetheless, they wanted, you know, production basically played her. She took the bait that production put out there for her to, you know, do the most. And so nonetheless, like I said, the not seeing her again, I feel like that's confirmation that she's done so. Even though she didn't officially say that she quits or that she's left the show or that she's not coming back, like you could pretty much read between the lines from this live, unless, you know, again, she's just trying to let you know what you're about to see on this reunion is some foolishness. But nonetheless, you know, she invited her, you know, had she known all this stuff, why would she invite Trish and Ken to her mimosas with Mel? And then Mel also wants to get into the timeline with Destiny. Wants to get in that she met her at the end of 2018, and she said all of her interactions, for the most part, with the exception of filming for the show, was pretty much all couples based. It was always her and Martel and Destiny and LeBaric, or it was Mel and Tel, Destiny and LeBaric, and Chris and Nell Fletcher. They were always meeting as couples. They always had barbecues. They would go out to eat. They would do all these couple stuff. And so, nonetheless, Mel was supposed to actually be in the actual wedding between Destiny and LeBaric because Destiny doesn't have any friends. And so, LeBaric at the time was Martel's bestie. But Mel was very much pregnant with Sugar Mama, so she was not able to be in that wedding.
And so, nonetheless, this whole thing where they're doing stuff in private or Mel's doing any type of grooming, Mel was absolutely confused. And Mel also pointed out that Destiny didn't even live in Huntsville, that she was living in Nashville for a while. So, nonetheless, and she said that she made Destiny the host of the baby shower for the simple purpose of the screen time, but Mel said she planned her baby shower from head to toe. Everything she did, she was responsible for. And so Mel said she booked her own horse and carriage. Also highlighted, with, the end of December, and also talked about how COVID happened in 2020, and, how they had to pull the kids out of school early before it officially happened, because people didn't know what was going on with all the illnesses and people dying and all the things. They wanted to get ahead of it and make sure that their kids were safe and that their kids were absolutely good to go. And so they did all that before the shutdown. And so this thing was, Mel really wasn't in Huntsville too much. She was either at her mom's house or she was at her brother's house, Marcus's house, right? So she feels like she was only in Huntsville for about a few weeks. And so nonetheless, she really at that point in, 2020 on, after she left Martell, they weren't interacting like that. They were not interacting, and it wasn't until Mother's Day that May, Mother's Day weekend, Martell was trying to set it up as though the kids really want to do something nice for you for Mother's Day weekend, and that's when they had that Destin trip. But nonetheless, there was no real interaction. So, but they kept saying, Martell kept presenting it, oh, it's the kids that want to take you to the beach, it's the kids that want you to do that, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And so, nonetheless, then she said as well that she came back to Huntsville because that's when she was filming, Behind Every Man, and she was doing all these things. And, and then some other stuff. And then her ringtone went off one of her phones, which was bad to the bone. And so, but yeah, said that, she was on set for Behind Every Man for about a week or two. And, then started filming Love and Marriage Huntsville. And then, also talked about the 2021 reunion for Love and Marriage Huntsville, that the production, once again, is not doing their due diligence, right? And, she understood that the conversations are going to be a hot mess. And, and then also reference this reunion about production utilizing different buzzwords and damaging words that you have no proof of because it's not true. And nonetheless, you like to edit certain scenes, but you didn't leave, whatever was of these episode descriptions on the cutting room floor. So y'all are some fools. And I even just checked just as recently before I did, I checked a few times. I kept refreshing because I would think by now that they would have changed the description of the episode, but nope, they have not. But I should have known better because they didn't change Aikisha's intro either after she said something. So they really feel like that this is untouchable and they could just do whatever they want to these people with no consequences. And so, again, just saying, outside of filming, she was not interacting with Martell. And, basically said as well, how is it that the synopsis of this episode is talking about any type of grooming, is talking about the double standards and all of these things? Like, she really just doesn't understand how these people are willing to be puppets and all this. And you don't have any proof of any grooming, and there wasn't enough interactions for any of these allegations to come through. But she said what she's not about to do is allow her legacy to be tarnished over some nonsense, over some BS. And so she said come October, she can't get, and so then from here, is where we'll get into in the next video the times that Destiny is trying to reach out to Mel, and this is where Mel is going to be providing receipts that she did not groom nobody and never groomed anybody and all of the things. And that was a flat out lie. So we're going to get into that in their next video, but let me know what y'all think about this particular recap in this particular section as far as the beginning stages of, you know, Mel getting to know Destiny and not really spending that much time with her outside of couple stuff. And then, of course, as well, you know, Trish randomly mentioning the concubine, trying to get a reaction. Like, Mel left hell in 2020, almost 5 years ago. Why are we still talking about this mistress? Who cares? So there's that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll see you guys again very soon.